games of this going to be. We're going to see the leads in very few seconds, and it's Azumarill versus Drapion. That's very neutral.
This is a very neutral lead, simply because the Drapion, yes, has super effective Poison Sting, but the charge attacks are resistant. The more shields there are in play, the better this becomes for Drapion, just because you can get more of that Poison Sting damage in. That makes it a pretty decent matchup for both players to decide what they want to do. Does Colin want to go for switch advantage, or does Boom just decide to go for shield advantage here?
Critical moment. There is a defense debuff, which makes it way easier for Colin to win this matchup. Boom goes for an Ice Beam bait. He does not want to go for the heavier hitting play rough, and this will not put the Drapion in easy thunder range. Immediate swap out into Boom's own Drapion, which is going to outpace the Drapion of Colin to the second Aqua Tail here.
And there's not really an answer on Colin's side here, so he's going for the Aqua Tail to debuff this. It still does decent damage. Then putting this Drapion into lunge range. I do like this play. Boom is now at 2 Aqua Tails, but goes for the crunch instead. If Colin thinks he's gonna go for double Aqua Tail, he would no-shoot, and he does! Crunch gonna land. This takes a huge chunk out of this spider. Rum, rum, rum.
This was a lot of damage indeed. The lunge is going to be fired off here, debuffing the attack of Boom, but Boom is already at more than an Aqua Tail, is going to be able to control the pace of the game here, to control the energy. I don't care about this debuff. I have all the energy that I need, and this is going to knock out regardless.
I don't want to jinx this, but here's the thing for Colin. You can't use shields. You cannot. Look at the backline. We have the Ariados here, and he actually catches the charge attack. The Trailblaze! This is double resisted even. It would buff the attack of the Ariados of Colin, but the problem is, this is all resisted. It doesn't deal much damage anyway. Trying to get back into his Drapion, he needs to get the charge attack in immediately, because if any of this damage goes into the Malamar, Colin would lose, so he needs to be quick here.
And Boom throws the lunge here, but doesn't look too happy about it. Colin has some energy left on this Shadow. Drapion is going to farm up to actually 2 crunches almost. Can't throw 2 crunches. Is going to throw here. This will almost knock out. The shield is going to be used by Boom. We're all out of shields here.
Oh man, look at the backline. No shields in play. Aqua Tail comes through. Boom is not liking this. Leo, I want you to take a close look at Boom's face once he sees the Malamar come in. Because it's not going to appreciate that launch. Colin knows he might not even bring in the Malamar because he still has a little bit on the Ariados left. But there's energy on Boom's Pokemon as well, right? On the Ariados.
Don't forget, there's also, if you want to play out versus the Malamar, oh, this is very controlling for Boom right here. The question is he going to be farmed down? But there's also the Azumarill in the back with no shields. This is going to deal a lot of damage with Play Rough onto the Malamar. Can Boom take this game? Only 2 Poison Stings needed for lunge. This lunge is boosted. This lunge is double super effective. Colin puts down the phone. Let's get it! Boom!
One hit knockout! Boom takes game number 1.
I don't think that Boom needs a nickname. The name stands for itself. This is one-hit KOs. This is pure dominance.
Is what Boom's thinking here. He's 1-0 up in his grand finals. Do keep in mind, Colin's full power, it evolves when he's 2-0 down. So be careful of that as Boom, right? Otherwise you might just get reverse sweeps.
That is true. Also, little correction here, he does not have 3 medals. He has 3 gold medals and then plenty of others.
It's true, yeah. That's crazy, actually. He also was indeed the finalist at 2024 Dortmund. This is the time for Colin to try and make that comeback already. He had a tough time against Paula. Here you see again those accolades, and he needs to do it again to come back in this matchup. He's done it before. Let's see if he can do it again.
Yep, champion finalist. This is mighty impressive. Colin6ix is one of the best trainers we have in the entire world. But can he beat Boom? The odds are in Boom's favor. He is in the winner's bracket. He is allowed to lose a best of 5, but he's not trying to. He is 1-0 up, and this game was dominant. This was the 3 Pokeball flex.
It was. You know what I also like to point out, by the way? I think I heard the crowd going like Boom as well. I don't know if they were calling his name or trying to boom with us, but if that's the case, you know, we appreciate you. We like to get the hype in these battles. This is the grand finals at the 2nd European Regional Championship. And I think both trainers are ready again. Boom on the left side, Colin on the right side. Let the 2nd game of this matchup begin. Here we go, we have the leads. It's a Shadow Quagsire into the Shadow Marowak.
And this is a good lead for boem20, but this is not as catastrophic as it seems when you just look at the typing. Immediate swap out from Colin into the Dugong, and that is going to mean that Boom can easily just throw a Stone Edge here, does throw it on perfect timing, which is sometimes a bit tricky when there is a switch out involved. Is this going to be shielded? Yes, this is a shield, but this is already a shield drawn out. There's an Ariados in the back.
There's the thing now, you can, I think you, actually you think, I get you get on charge stack priority on the second charge stack here. So first Ice Wind going through, gonna put this Ariados a little bit lower, but this Dugong is not exactly in range yet of that Trailblaze, so it can hang on here. Is Colin going for good timing? Yes, he is, but that will allow Boom to throw this Trailblaze without taking a next debuff.
Yep, that is true. Colin thinking that would maybe go on charge attack priority, trying to get more advantage by sneaking in another Ice Shard. Going in with the Icy Wind here. This could be a shield applied for Boom. It will be close to knocking out the Ariados, but can it hang on with enough HP to get some more poison sticks in? It just needs...
Oh! The Marowak coming in, taking out the Ariados before it can do anything. In comes the Quagsire again. As you said at the start of the battle, this is not exactly the worst matchup for the Marowak because it can hang on to one single Aqua Tear here, and the Mudslap damage really adds up on the Shadow variant of this Quagsire.
The Shadow Kanto Marowak is so good, but look at the amount of this damage. So little energy, so much power. We're going to shield up the Bone Club. Is this the chance for Boom to go for a full farm down against this Marowak? And this is looking good for the farm down. Oh, goes for the charge attack priority.
He loses charge attack priority here. The Quagsire is just a little bit bulkier than the Marowak, and now all the energy is lost. It's going to be the Drapion, but it gets a good farm down here against the Ariados. This is still the Dugong as well, though, from Colin.
Yeah, sometimes, gotta say, this Mudslap still dealt a lot of damage, but there's so many debuffs, no way to clear them. There is still a shield for Colin. This
the bait, the Aqua Tail bait is Colin going to call this. Last time he got chopped on by a crunch on this Ariados, and he does no shield. What a great call from Colin, the final boss.
Splish, splash, not much damage applied. Their launch is going to connect, and it's going to be even less damage in the future because those Aqua Tails can't knock out. I think a Crunch at this point would barely not knock out anymore, but we're going to go into the Dugong. Boom can farm up a lot of energy, but it comes as the cost for the damage of Colin. Colin wins this game, ties it up 1-1.
1-1, what a great play from Colin there. Calling that bait, the Aqua Tail instead of the Crunch. The Crunch would have done so much damage, but the thing is, Colin knows he can take one charge stack at least. He still had another shield as well, and he realized as soon as he landed one lunge, he could just go into the Dugong because Ice Shard does more damage. It's not resisted like the Poison Sting is, so the Dugong could just take down that little bit remaining of the Drapion there.
Yep, that is definitely true. Dugong is... We have seen many Dugong farm downs in this tournament. Maybe we have also seen many of those because Dugong is in every single game, basically. As Ariados, so dominant is Dugong as well. It is incredibly strong. This meta is all about debuffing, and I thought we were seeing this with Scald in the last season.
I think so too, honestly. Now, what I want to point out as well, I was just curious. The charge stack priority between Marowak and Quagsire, it's super close. They have very equal attack, but I think that Colin might just have a little bit more attack on his Marowak, and that allowed him to win the charge stack priority. That really threw Boom off guard there.
Yeah, but that is crucial information for him to use in the next maybe 8 games that are going to happen. It is 1-1 in the first round of this grand finals. The bracket hasn't been reset yet. Boom is still undefeated when it comes to matches in this tournament.
And let's see if he can keep it that way, because it's 1-1 right now. Colin made a tremendous play there, bringing the Kanto Marowak. That's a Pokemon that Tactical also relied on, and Boom was able to handle that. But this time it kind of threw him off guard there. Even though he had a decent lead where he had the Quagsire into that Shadow Marowak, Colin was still able to get through. I think Colin is ready. Boom's still looking through his team sheet to see, what should I bring, and what is my opponent maybe not bringing.
Yep, that is so interesting because all of these Pokemon are so incredibly neutral. We have seen Drapion, we have seen Ariados from Colin. We haven't seen the Dunsparce on the side of Boom, which is very, very strong into those two specific Pokemon because of this Drill Run Rock Slide combination and of course the rollout damage. We're going to see the leads for the next one. That is Shadow Quagsire versus the Malamar. That's interesting.
This is a very neutral matchup between these two Pokemon. I think we're basically always looking at the Ariados in the back. Colin probably happy there's no Ariados to see here, even though that the Malamar doesn't do that terrible in it. A lunge would do a lot, of course. The first foul play is going through. I believe this might put Quagsire very close to the red.
Yep, this could be a shield farm down range combination. Actually, not at all. We're still at about 25% HP on the side of Boom. And as the fall play was thrown, the Shadow Quagsire can outpace the Malamar to the next charge attack.
And no shielding the first one. The Stonish would have done much more damage, but it was unlikely that Boom would go for that immediately either way. Aqua Tail comes out so quickly as well, and Colin does decide to go for switch advantage. This Malamar could still be very important for him. And Boom decides to go into Drapion immediately here, going for the superpower. This is going to do a lot of damage if it goes unshielded. Oh no, not superpower! This is going to put it in... this is going to delete like 50% health.
But Boom must know that this is a super pro. There is no reason to throw a foul play in that scenario because you're always going to swap out that Malamar in that scenario because Psywaves don't deal a lot of damage. We're going in the mirror match. The Aqua Tail is being thrown by the Shadow Drapion from boem20.
This is charge attack priority again, but this time Boom wins charge attack priority, and that's also valuable information. I don't think you can undercharge this as Colin though, because Boom is one poisoning away from the Aqua Tail. Never mind anyway, because Boom puts him on Protect Shield here.
He has the shield advantage and he wants to use it as well, and he's going to throw the Aqua Tail now on a possible charge attack priority event again. Colin knows he's going to lose this, so why not just overfarm anyways? Puts up a shield, wants to keep this Shadow Drapion in play. There is Shadow Quagsire and Ariados in the back.
Oh!
No, Ariados trying to go for a catch here.
An attempt to catch, but you have to throw either way, otherwise this Quagsire gets to an Aqua Tail. Water's being splashed all over the battlefield here, taking out this Quagsire. What are you going with Boom now? Colin already has another Aqua Tail loaded, and both Pokemon really don't like to take that. Both the Ariados and the Drapion. In fact, you can't even farm down this Drapion, so you have to come in with one of those Pokemon to try and take it out. Let's see. Boom has to shield it, I think.
I think this Drapion is just being the next shield for Boom. No, puts up a shield. Wants to keep this energy in play. Wants to keep this Pokemon in play. Knows those Poison Sting are not going to deal a lot of damage. Throws...
Oh! The catch from Colin, predicting that Boom would throw as soon as he got the Aqua Tail, because Boom knows he wins charge attack priority. What an incredible play there from Colin, catching the charge attack.
But he has two, so that's fine for him. No, he throws another one. This is the Pokemon he originally wanted to KO, and now it all comes down to a little bit of an Ariados mirror matchup. The thing is, the advantage will be in Colin's favor in terms of pacing, because he gets to swap in the Pokemon first. So he throws a lunge in the beginning, but Boom has another advantage. He can clear the debuff soon.
Wow, what a turn of events here. Now looking so good for Colin, because he gets the first debuff off. But keep in mind that if the Ariados from Colin gets debuffed a lot, it might not even be able to Poison Sting down the Drapion in the end game, and then Drapion might be able to get to an attack from Boom. So this game is not over just yet.
We're going to see some Poison Stings applied. We know that Colin has the one-turn advantage. Waits a turn here, knows the timer isn't up, but just for good manners, throws another lunge, will significantly debuff the Ariados of Boom, and the timer is still not up, so I think it is very, very reasonable to go for another one here.
Another thing to keep in mind, Boom can switch out as well to clear the debuff, and then his lunge will do more damage again. I think it's for Colin, it's probably relevant to keep some energy so he can straight up debuff again. Going for the lunge here again. Colin is building up energy. He needs to make sure that he has energy for Boom, but Boom didn't clear the debuff. This lunge doesn't do as much damage now.
No, Boom did not clear it. That is very, very interesting. Gets hit with another lunge. Colin6ix is almost at 2 lunges.
Out. It barely does. He needs to throw another charge attack here.
Yep, and he also gets to it. Now there is maybe a catch.
Oh, he tried! Did he get to an attack? No! Colin waits again, the final boss. You can't get past him this easy. Colin takes the lead here. He's now 2-1.
Look at his smile right there. There was a little smirk, Colin. Don't you think we didn't see it? 5 seconds of grinning, knowing I activated my final boss mode.
Yeah, there's that sweet smile, but behind that is the competitor that can take on anyone. Boom is now, I think this might be like one of the, it's just the first time that Boom is behind, isn't he?
Yeah, but I was just curious to ask, he gets outpaced anyways. Drapion will go down in 2 Poison Stings. Why didn't he just clear the debuff before he threw his last lunge?
I guess maybe he knows that he would lose charge attack priority, so it may not matter as much. But I do agree that it would have been more efficient for his lunge damage to swap in the Drapion earlier on, so he clears like the 3 attack drops, and then perhaps his lunge may knock out the Ariados from Colin. So maybe a little bit of an oversight, but he could have also known perhaps somehow that he would lose charge attack priority and then lunge wouldn't knock out either way.
Yep, that is also a possibility. There were some Poison Stings flying into the Shadow Drapion before it got farmed down, so that gave Colin even more of an advantage there. Might get to the 2 lunges that are necessary in this scenario. Boom won the first game, lost 2 afterwards. What can he do? It is game point for Colin6ix to reverse the bracket, and this is what he does best. But I mean, it wouldn't be a Colin show if this didn't go to game 5, right?
It's true. It's true. He also had it against him once, by the way. In Dortmund, Colin came from the winner's side of the bracket to the grand finals, and then there was Arceus Aurelius, who then reset the bracket and defeated Colin. So it's not exactly impossible to defeat Colin in a scenario like this, but he does seem to be exceptionally good at grand finals. He's a really good closer.
Yep, and I think he was really, really close at winning this last game of the grand finals in Dortmund as well. He was just very close to winning with an Incinerate against Registeel, but that doesn't matter. That's way in the past. We're seeing a very good lead for Boom. Actually, not very good, but it is slightly decent.
It's not spider season according to Boom, it's spider hunting season. In comes Malamar, answered by the Azumarill. What a great prediction here from Boom, adapting to the usage of Colin so far in this matchup. Malamar can actually win this as long as 2 shields are in play for both Pokemon, because the Psywave damage will add up so much that even this resisted damage is going to be very valuable. Let's see if that's what Colin wants to do here.
He's chipping down with those Psywaves. Of course, bubbles also do add up. A Play Rough would put it in farm down range or knock it out. It would be super effective. It is a strong attack. Colin puts up a shield, of course. Now there is 1 shield less. This is still a decent matchup for Boom.
What I like about Colin's lineup here is that he baits out the Azumarill with the Malamar. This will free up the Shadow Marowak in the back. But the problem is, or what I don't like as much about it, is that Colin doesn't even realize how good that Shadow Marowak otherwise with 2 shields would have been into the Dunsparce and the Ariados backline. Now he doesn't have shields anymore, and Boom's likely swapping out. He's swapping back into the Dunsparce, which is quite pro to superpower if unshielded.
I mean, he wants to maybe put it all on the back of the Ariados. No, goes for a shield. He knows this is going to debuff the Malamar. If Malamar wants to throw another attack, it will be debuffed. No, doesn't. Now we go into an energy dry. Shadow Marowak without any kind of shields. This is almost 2 Drill Run. Will this do enough to put it to half health?
It doesn't. And that makes this matchup so awkward, because look at how close it gets. Rollout, the fast attack from Dunsparce is also resisted. It's barely not going to do enough to take out the Marowak in 2 charge stacks here. And I think at this point, Boom needs to find the win condition in his Ariados, because he needs to get to a charge stack on the Malamar, but then there's also still that full Ariados lurking in the back. What looked so bad for Colin at first with the lead and the swap in is now suddenly a pretty good position for him.
Yeah, but the good thing about this matchup is it is put into farm down range. Oh, there goes for the Bone Club, takes out the Azumarill, but then there is still some health left on that Dunsparce and the Ariados as
See
well.
what he did? He didn't tap the screen because he wanted to get more energy. And Colin, under charges, recognizes, makes sure that Boom does not get any energy on Ariados. What a high-level play that we have here at the Lille Grand Finals.
Yep, and now the Ariados is being sent in by Boom. Takes a lot of damage from those Psywaves from Malamar. You kind of want to shield that even though you don't know the last Pokemon on the side of Colin. What can you do here? You're going to be in the energy advantage in the mirror match. However, you take so much damage from those Psywaves. What a catch on the Ariados. This is resisted.
Plus, he snuck in a Poison Sting. Colin swapped and got in a Poison Sting. This will allow him to get to the next launch before, but it looks like Boom decides to swap in immediately. He needs to get the Rock Slide. This may be crucial in this matchup. Rock Slide's not going to knock out yet, but it's going to put Colin in a really difficult position.
That is going to be so big. Even an Undercharge really does not want to. Oh, Poison Stings, we're going to see. Are we knocking each other out? Oh, the Ariados knocks out the Dunsparce.
Hold up. How much energy is there?
Double launch.
No energy. How much energy is there on Malamar? Because after these 2 launches, the timer will be up. If Colin can get to the foul play before that, that might be actually a very critical point here. The next launch coming through, I think the timer's up after this.
This is still decent damage. Can Colin go for the combo play? He still has 3 seconds left afterwards. Swaps in the Malamar. The Malamar's already at the move. Throws the Super Power. The Ariados is deep in the red. The Super Power is going to knock out and reset the bracket.
Colin6ix with those 3 wins in a row. Superpower goes through and Colin resets the bracket.
Incroyable! This player is just crazy. He once again resets a bracket in the grand finals. Colin6ix, how many times have we yelled his name here?
Well, he's in a lot of battles, so
yeah, that's
I think that's very many. Wow, what a play from both trainers. You think that these matchups might take a while just because these Pokemon keep debuffing each other, but that's not the case. These are some of the best games I've seen in a while.
Wow, when timer actually, when timer. We had to sit down for a while. We were standing, crying, screaming at the screen this game. This was very intense, and it was a 3-1 even. We thought, okay, boom. There have been so many players who have been bracket reset by Colin already, but boom, he didn't have that intention. He straight up won the first game, but then 3 games in a row, Colin just activated the final boss mode.
Colin is just welcoming him to the Play Pokemon circuit. This is what the championship series are. It's gonna take the best to win all of it. Chad, I want to know from you, do you think it's gonna be Colin? Did he find his final form? Or is Boom going to make a comeback? Boom has proven to make incredible plays against incredible players and read their minds flawlessly. So even though he lost 1-3 in the first best of 5, I don't think he's entirely out yet here.
No, I think that Colin got a little bit into his head there in this best of 5, but then we have some time to clear our heads here as the players. We have some time to watch the highlights of the last game as well, see how Colin maneuvered himself to victory there. Boom, very well played in the first game, caught a lunge, which is also, or caught the Trailblaze actually, which was a maneuver that Colin did in the last game to secure everything there. And Boom is just outpacing here. Gets the lunge off, and this was a nice boom.
Yeah, that took out a lot of health from this Malamar. Boom, indeed. Honoring his name here, Malamar going down, and this looked rough for Colin, right? Because we saw him go 0-2 down versus Paula, and then he goes 1-0 down versus Boom here. But we see again the flexibility that Colin has and how he adapts to the gameplay of his opponent, recognizes the key points, how Boom plays, catches the Aqua Tail on the Malamar, which was crucial to set up his Ariados for a victory here.
Yeah. This was also a great not catch on Colin's side. He just waited there, knew that he's going to take out the Ariados with a lunge afterwards. And now we're going to go over. This was the 2-1 for Colin. Now the deciding match of the first grand finals here, with the bracket not being reset, the superpower coming through. It is double resisted, does not matter.
Honestly, I may have even doubted if this would nuke out because double resisted. But I think at this point, Colin was like, I can't take any chances. I need to get my charge stick off. If I don't get the charge stick off before the Ariados does, I lose this battle. That was an interesting end game because Boom gave Colin the opportunity to farm up more energy, and because he was able to farm up more energy, he stalled the clock so long all the way until he was able to swap out and get to the Malamar's charge stack.
And even if that superpower doesn't knock out, he has another Pokemon in the back. He just needs to put it in farm down range, and he did so much damage with those Psy Waves. Malamar was a little bit shy this tournament in the beginning. You know, it didn't come out that much, but now we can see the power of Malamar if it's in the hand of Colin6ix.
You think that Azumarill is a good counter. Colin shows that Azumarill is not that great of a Malamar counter. The more shields there are in play, the better Malamar can be because it can rely on the fast attack pressure. But here we go. We have the grand finals reset. The first game is going to start. It's going to be Boom, 20 on the left. The final was Colin6ix on the right. It is the Azumarill into the Ariados. This is a fantastic lead for Colin.
Boom probably anticipating a Malamar, immediately save switching into the Shadow Drapion, which is really, really good. There is no direct answer on the side of Colin. Can still outpace here to the Aqua Tail. Nice backup strategy from
I think there is actually, because Colin brought the Shadow Marowak, but probably waits for the Aqua Tail damage, because that is super effective on the Marowak, and otherwise the Marowak cannot get the Mudslap down entirely.
Phenomenal observation, Martijn.
Thank you. I
missed that.
I'm watching the same battle.
That is true. We see Mudslap after Mudslap here. The Aqua Tail was used. Can he reach another one? No, he
doesn't.
Can't. It is the full farm down. This Shadow Marowak is loaded with energy.
And the good thing for Colin here is he didn't even need to use a shield, but because he took an Aqua Tail on his Ariados, that does leave the Ariados more prone to an Ice Beam from Azumarill. So I think Boom may be in somewhat of an okay position. The problem is though, with those shields up, that Malamar in the back is still pretty good for Colin into the Ariados from Boom.
Yep, that is true. However, when Colin goes into the Ariados as well to clear off this Azumarill, oh, we go for a Poison Sting. here. That is very, very strong. But now Colin has the option to go into Malamar, to use 2 shields against those debuffing attacks, and then in the end clear the attack again. Go into this Ariados to maybe catch a charge attack, but deal so much damage in the process.
Yeah, Azumarill's energy may be very important for later. It's for Colin important to get those shields down, so both Pokemon are prone to it. Let's see, first foul play going through. The Ariados is quite low, but with the next debuff, I believe that it will be able to get to another charge stack here.
Yep, there is going to be the lunge right here. We can see in this 2-shield scenario if Colin is going to be able to farm down, or if Boom is maybe perhaps switching out into the Azumarill timer. Should be down soon. Let's it go, actually. And I like this play because he knows what's in the back. He knows that he has a move stored.
Does it knock out? If it doesn't knock out, then you might get debuffed yourself. Maybe you have to shield something. Looks like Boom is going to put up his last protect shields. He needs to debuff this Pokemon and then land an Ice Beam. But this is not going to pull a shield, I think.
No, but this is going to maybe put this in bubble down range. Did Colin just overestimate the strength of his own Ariados? Is going to farm up a lot. Of course, no shields on the side of Boom. Knows that he can win the charge attack priority. Actually lets him throw the charge attack here. Puts up another shield. Knows that the Azumarill might not have enough energy to get to a charge attack. And throws a Trailblaze here in this matchup.
I think he needs to boost his attack back so he can take on the Azumarill. But the Azumarill is too healthy and has that HP that can take on the Trailblaze. It goes into the Azumarill. It has a little bit of energy.
Oh, it has a lot of energy. Oh, it has a lot of energy. There is no shield on the side of Colin. The Ice Beam is going to connect and take out the Ariados.
Boom is going with the Ice Beam here and takes game number 1 in the Grand Finals reset. Despite a terrible lead against the final boss, he's able to come back. And now he's ahead in the Grand Finals reset.
This was shocking. I thought Colin had this easy, but then he just let go the Malamar.
He seemed to have all the answers, right? He had the Ariados into the Azumarill, he had the Shadow Marowak into the Shadow Drapion, but because he lost so much HP on the Ariados, he was just so prone to the energy of the Azumarill that he had to be very picky with using his shields. And because he let the Malamar go as well, the Ariados from Boom was just way too healthy to take out afterwards.
Yeah, I thought he had this. I thought we had a clear game plan, Colin. But Boom managed to come out of this game victorious. Now he's leading again. Keep in mind, yes, Colin won the bracket reset. But that, as it sounds, it just resets everything. Now Boom is in the lead again. The pressure is on Colin here.
How do you deal with that pressure? You need to make some good calls again, but do keep in mind that in the previous set, Colin was also 1-0 down, and in that set, he won 3 battles in a row. So how are you going to adapt here? Last time he did with the Malamar, but that secret is kind of out already. Maybe it's time for Dugong to come back.
Oh, Dugong would be something that I would like to see. However, we have seen Ariados, we have seen Dunsparce on the side of Boom. So Dugong is a little hard to bring sometimes, but maybe he finds a niche scenario where he can bring it. And we're seeing the Psychic Cup Slayer. This is Malamar Mirror.
This is an interesting matchup because the Psywave are a lot on the screen and they deal no damage at all. They deal no damage. This is triple resisted. We don't have immunity typings in Pokemon Go, so Psychic resisted single times and Dark resisted double times. But going into the Drapion, just keeping that energy, but now you have to take a superpower and it does so much damage.
Yeah, but the Drapion basically used like a damage sponge in many of these games because it never gets one-hit KO'd. It always just takes some damage. Oh, the Shadow Quagsire is being brought in here. It can take a charge attack as well. Can shield the other one and maybe go for a huge farm down because Mudshot got changed. It provides less energy but deals more damage.
And with that defense drop, you might go for an Aqua Tail to get a shield advantage here. Otherwise, I don't think that an Aqua Tail would have knocked out. In fact, he's letting it go. Is this Aqua Tail going to knock out? It's getting really close. This has been debuffed. And yes, it does knock out. Colin flip switch advantage, but it only allows Boom to farm more energy.
Yes, but it looked like a little bit of more energy, I thought, but the Psywave still dealt a lot of damage, even though it was resisted. We're going to go for a superpower here. Colin's switch timer must be up, right?
Oh, putting up the shield there. I don't think you want to switch out as Colin just yet because the energy from Malamar on Ariados does. Never mind, he goes there. But this is going to do a lot of damage as foul play. Let's see. Go for the first foul play. You gotta shield something as Colin right now. You have 2 protect shields, and there's the first one from Colin.
You have to shield at some point. He's going to go for a the lunge is not going to connect here because we're just farming up a little bit more. You have to lunge eventually as well still. So we're going to throw here. We're going to debuff the Ariados. So that is advantageous for Colin. However, the Psywave damage previously dealt so much, there might be a chance for Boom to win this Ariados Mirror matchup.
I don't know if that's going to play out entirely because the clocks are misaligned. That means that Colin at some point can switch out again into his own Malamar, and I think that is what he wants to keep his shield for, because otherwise that launch will take out the Malamar in one attack.
Yeah.
Now, I think that Colin's Malamar is so low that even the opposing Malamar will knock it out with one charge attack as well. Foul Plane's power do like 50% there. First we gotta get through this one, and Boom is playing it very smart. He's farming up energy, because if he threw immediately, it would leave Colin easy to switch out.
That is true. Very, very far ahead thinking from boem20 right here. Goes up to 2 lunges, throws one. The question is now, how much damage, how much energy does Colin6ix's Ariados have? Can you switch in your own Malamar? Yes, he goes for it. Colin also attempts to switch. Both have a superpower. This is similar energy on both, but the HP advantage is on the side of Boom. Colin is going to throw a superpower immediately. The shield is being put up by Boom. Can Boom win this? Is a foul play or a superpower enough after the debuff?
Who's going to win charge attack priority? Both Pokemon are at the superpower. Here we go. And Boom wins charge attack priority. Now you got to use a shield as Colin. This is incredibly important in this match. But here's the other thing. Maybe you may be able to farm down as Colin here, because the Cyrif do almost no damage. Boom is in a very tough spot here.
Yeah, the debuff from the superpower, because you won the charge attack priority, that's actually bad for you, because now the superpower knocks out. But you can't throw a lunge! You can't throw a lunge! It is going to knock out the Malamar, but how much HP is on the Ariados on the side of Colin6ix? What is going to happen in this mirror match?
He has the launch! Colin ties up the score!
And boss mode activated once again. Gets out with the spider, jump scares Boom with another lunge to knock out and finish this game too. The game is tied again. There is no advantage on either side.
These matchups take a while with all those debuffs around, but with the shorter switch clock that we have in this new meta, after about 2 lunges from each Pokemon, you can switch out again and just clear the debuffs. Try to maneuver with energy on other Pokemon as well. These sets are crazy. Both players just dancing around with Ariados and Malamar. The highlights of the season are making an appearance here in the Grand Finals.
Martijn, you as an extremely proficient player who has been in many top cuts, do you just calm down in this situation? Because the game, in the end, it was very hectic. How important is it to breathe through here?
It takes such a toll on your mental, really, because losing a game like this is rough, especially if you were to win a lead like we saw in the previous game. But that was hard for Colin. Keeping your cool here, it means that you need to think of a strategy that could work. Maybe that your opponent already knows but doesn't expect again, or maybe something entirely new. Maybe you need to run a risky line here. Keeping your head up is what both players need to do here. Both players have lost 1 game and have won 1 game here. The pressure is high on both players. Boom wants to win his first championship ever, and Colin looking to add his 4th gold medal to his collection.
The stakes are getting higher every single game, because the match won't be finished after this one, but you have match point to be the Lille regional champion, either for the first time or once again.
That's gonna be it indeed. Both players are looking through these teams. At some point, I think you kind of can't predict which Pokemon come out. I bet the Ariados will be again on both sides because it's so strong. Colin has the Shadow Marowak, but there's no Clodsire or something. Here we go. Game number 3 between these 2 players. Chat, audience, I want to hear your support for these trainers. This is a great lead for Colin. Drop you into Malamar, but looks like Boom staying in.
Yeah, the backline does not look like it wants to get crunched immediately. We're going to throw a crunch on the side of Colin. Maybe Boom's strategy is to go up to almost 2 superpowers and then throw one to switch out afterwards. Try to get a little bit of damage onto the Shadow Drapion to get into a possible farm down range.
I think he wants to pull a shield advantage in case there will be a Malamar in the back, so he could take it out with 1 lunge in the back. Going into the Quagsire, going into the Poison type. You think this Poison type isn't good into Quagsire, but it has Trailblaze, and not even going for the Stone Edge. Wants to get that Aqua Tail immediately. I don't know if I agree with this play, because this doesn't pull a shield exactly. Never mind, it does pull a shield. Even though it wasn't as threatening as a Stone Edge, Colin wants to preserve as much HP on his Pokemon as possible.
Is that incredible mind games right now? A shield signalizing, hey, I want to not take this undebuffed damage. But Boom is not falling for this bait. He's going to shield up the Trailblaze. He's going to not get taken out immediately. The attack rose on the Ariados, but how important is that? Aqua Tail is going to deal a tremendous amount of damage, even though it's not super effective.
That does a lot of damage. I'm not sure if the Quagsire can actually flip this. I don't think so. It wouldn't need to knock it out in 3 much, but this Ariados is just barely bulky enough. Going for another Trailblaze, not taking any chance with a potential launch bait. And this does leave the Ariados very low and very prone to take it out with big. No, he gets the Macho down. That's crazy.
If Colin had baited with a lunge, this might not have happened before. And now the Shadow Quagsire is in there. It's sitting big. It's not debuffed. It has 1.5 Aqua Tails, 2 Aqua Tails even against the Shadow Marowak. This only has 1 shield. This is going to deal so much damage.
Aqua Tail comes through, washes all over the Shadow Marowak. You need to catch an attack at some point, I think, as Colin. Is he going to try to do it? No, he's not. The thing is, if you know there's Ariados in the back, Rock Slide might be so important. What do you shield here as Colin?
Boom knows he's going to lose the charge attack priority. We saw that earlier. Takes out a shield, has the move. Colin waits a turn, swaps into the Drapion now. The Super Power is already loaded up on the side of Boom. There's going to be an Aqua Tail. How is this game going to turn out? Boom still has the Quagsire in the back.
This leaves Boom for an incredible farm down on either one of his Pokemon here, on both the Ariados and the Quagsire. Quagsire comes in, Quagsire is popping off, and it farms down the Drapion before we get to a charge attack. Now going for the Octo, but we know that he wins charge attack priority. Now you need to farm down with the Ariados, but if Colin gets to a Rock Slide, it might get really close.
Yeah, but the Ariados has so much damage with those Poison Sting. This is a slither of health, and this is going to be boom, boom, boom!
He wins game number 3 and is again in the lead. He's 1 win away from winning the 2025 Lille Regional Championship. And against who? It is against the final boss, Colin6ix, probably the most experienced player in the Grand Finals. Is Colin able to make a comeback here?
The most prestigious regionals are the ones that you win versus Colin in the finals. So far, there was only 1 trainer who has beat Colin6ix in a Grand Finals, and that was Arceus Aurelius. Can Boom be the second one?
Arceus Aurelius not in this tournament, maybe even a blessing for Colin. But now there's Boom, and Boom is playing out of his mind. Yes, you can have all these accolades from Colin. They're incredibly impressive. Boom doesn't have any because this is his first championship.
Which is also impressive.
Wait, exactly, because look at how far he got. Imagine having a 100% win rate. That's always something good to have, no?
Yeah, 100% seems kind of decent. To be honest, he has lost the bracket reset, so maybe it is not exactly 100, but I think we count the Grand Finals as a whole, right?
That is true. Well, let's just keep it in terms of championship series, and if he were to win. But again, we saw Colin come back in the Grand Finals reset as well. If anyone can keep their cool, it would be Colin. And Colin can make some really good team reads too. We saw a good adaptation there from Boom with that Quagsire. Quagsire was just so difficult for Colin there. With that energy advantage, it just won against Ariados when 2 shields were up at the start. That might be new information for Boom as well, and he could adapt that. He could use that. If I can just swap in my Quagsire at some point, Colin will have no answer as long as I have 2 shields up.
Yep, that is true. The way he played out this matchup versus the Ariados with those Trailblazers didn't fall for it. This could have, baits could have been huge on the side of Colin. This could have switched the entire game because he actually got a very, very close farm down on the Quagsire versus the Ariados. If he had lunged, I think he would have reached another Trailblaze and knocked out the Shadow Quagsire, but that didn't happen. Boom leads 2-1. This is match point for the regional championships here in Lille, and the lead goes to Colin.
Colin with that Drapion, but we saw this earlier as well. Looks like Boom is pulling off that same strategy here. This is a great lead for the Drapion. And here we see the superpower again. This time Colin doesn't throw a charge attack first, taking the charge attack here. If the Quagsire now comes in, it would have to take that crunch, which does a lot of damage. And let's see, going into the Ariados instead, immediately banking the energy. This is interesting. Now let's see if Colin is going to play this different.
Yep, we see Boom. There is a lot of energy on the Shadow Drapion. Didn't bother to throw even an Aqua Tail, but the Aqua Tail is being shielded on the side of Colin here. Goes for a Trailblaze or a Lunge. We have seen how it plays out last time. Goes for the Trailblaze. Is Boom predicting a huge debuff here, or is he predicting the Grass-type attack? Shields the Trailblaze up. Quagsire hangs on for another day.
Colin6ix is not taking any chances with potential lunge baits. No shooting this Aqua Tail. This looks like the previous game here. We know that Quagsire can get the full poison thing down unless Colin goes for a lunge here, but no. goes for a Trailblaze. And Boom knows that he can get the mud shot down here. But perhaps this might open up for Colin because the clock is up now. He can switch out into the Malamar. He swaps out, needs the energy here. This is going to be super crucial. There's not a lot of HP left on all the Pokemon of Colin. He's going to get really close.
Oh, it's very, very interesting as well that Colin didn't throw a superpower immediately. Makes sense because he would be debuffed in the next matchup as well. Aqua Tail is going to connect a foul play, almost going to knock out from this range. Aqua Tail looks like it might be able to knock out here if it goes unshielded.
It's going to get really close. Colin puts up his last Protect Shield here. In goes the Malamar. Squid Game time. And now you need 2 foul players. Colin to knock it out. Oh, goes for the superpower instead. This costs a little bit less energy. I'm not sure if the second one will knock out though. And then there's still the Ariados in the back from Boom as well.
A superpower and swap? No, we can't swap. We are still locked in this one. Colin goes for the next one. The Malamar on the side of Boom is very, very low here. I think this might be a knockout, or will Boom get an attack of... No, it gets knocked out. He has the Shadow Quagsire. He has the Ariados. The timer is up for Colin. Brings in the Drapion that has to Aqua Tail. Goes for a crunch here. Is this going to knock out?
I think he's getting so close to knocking out. Drapion comes in with a crunch. Here we go. Chop, chop, chop. Knocks it out. In comes the Ariados. And it's going to get crucial. Can't get the poisoning down here. The crunch going to do so much damage to the Ariados. We've seen this before, but Colin still has his own Ariados as well. Can it take the lunge? This is gonna get down to the wire.
This deals so much damage, but the Ariados on Colin's side is so incredibly low. Defense.
He goes down with the Aqua Tail.
He has 1.5 lunges. Is that enough on the back of Ariados to win this game against Ariados on Colin's side? And the Malamar as well. He wants to bring no Pokemon in there. There is so much energy. He farms up a little more. He goes to 2 moves. He goes to 2 moves. Boom goes to 2 moves.
That means he has 2 Charge Sticks loaded. Colin has 2 Pokemon left. He has another attack. Ariados has a high attack with Charge Attack priority. Here we go. The launch of the Malamar goes to Boom. It's going to be your 2025 Lille Regional Champion.
One more time. Let's get it. Boom! 20 wins the Pokemon Go Regional Championships here in Lille. He's debuted on the competitive circuit. This is absolutely incredible.
Defeating 3-time regional champion Colin6ix on his first ever play Pokemon Championship.